Hi folks, Rodney back again with Rodney's Northwest Riding Reviews. Today I'm going to do a quick video, and now I'm sitting in a 2025 Toyota Tacoma, but the video I'm going to do is going to pertain to the 12.3 inch display, the dash. And so I'm going to kind of talk about getting to your safety features, explaining what the safety features are, and then helping you maneuver around in there so that you can kind of get things set the way that you want them. I'll do a follow-up video and I'll talk about the customization of the dash. Now, this video is going to pertain to the Tacoma, it will pertain to the RAV4, it will pertain to the Camry, it will pertain to the Highlander, the Grand Highlander. I might be leaving one out, but that's all I can think of at the moment. But anyway, this is Safety Sense 3.0. And like I said, they're all using, in fact, if you think about it, Toyota is going very modular in a lot of things that they're doing. So, you know, when we talk about trucks, we're talking about like the Tacoma, the 4Runner, they're both using the same TAGAF platform. Same thing with the Tundra. So there's a lot of things that are very modular in Toyota now. And so when you look in the interior, you're going to see, like, for instance, the Tacoma and the 4Runner looks almost identical. The Sequoia and the Tundra look identical. So there's a lot of features and products that are being shared, you know, on different vehicles now. So this will help a lot of different people. I do know that when I'm going through my deliveries, especially with, I would say, the older generation, and I'm in the older generation, so I can say that. But I will say that in the older generation, it's definitely more difficult. When you look at Toyota, let's say you go back, 30 years ago, a Toyota was a very plain Jane product. A lot of people talked about reliability and durability, but they didn't have a lot of features that could go wrong. We're talking about electronic items. Well, back when I started in the car business back in '94, if a car had 2 airbags, it had a lot. Well, now most vehicles have anywhere from 8 to 10. Probably some of them have more, but not that I know of in a Toyota product. But anyway, technology has definitely changed a lot. So anyway, I want to get into this video here. But like I said, we're going to be talking about the safety features. So this is the 12.3 inch display. Now, all of your safety features are going to be covered in this little settings menu here in one that looks like a gear. Now, the way that you're going to get to that, so let's say hypothetically it's not in that setting. So I'm going to show you how to get there. So you see the 3 pop up at the bottom. Now there's 3 different displays or profiles, and I will cover that more in depth when I talk about customizing your dash. But the way you get into it, if you hit the OK button, just kind of pull it down real quick, that profile is going to pop up, and now you want to push and hold the OK button until it opens up the profile. Now you can go in there and hit the OK button really quick, and that's going to open up your safety screen. So the first one is LDA, and that stands for lane departure. Now, on the steering wheel, you do have a lane departure button right here. The reason they put it on the steering wheel, anytime that feature is turned on, and the camera, which is in this black box up here, if it doesn't see the lines, and that's what it's designed to do, is read the lines on both sides of the road. If it does not see the lines, then it's going to give you an audible or a vibrate mode through the steering wheel to alert you that, hey, you've crossed over the line. Well, in a situation where you're driving through a construction zone and there's no lines, this is either going to try to pull the vehicle one way or another. It will give you the alert, and this way you can quickly turn that feature off. Now, keep in mind that lane departure does not work under 32 miles per hour. So like if you're driving through town, it's not going to be going off all the time. Now, in order to get in there and set those lane departure settings, you push and hold the OK button. And now you'll notice that there was a blue bracket. So if I were to back up for a second and just hit the circle back button, if there's a blue bracket around the LDA. So that's how you know which one you're actually setting or going into the internal menu. But if I push and hold the OK button, it opens up that internal menu. You can see that the LDA, which is your lane departure feature, is turned on. And then the alert options is in vibrate mode. So you have a vibrate or you have an audible option mode, and that will obviously beep. The alert timing, there is a low and a high setting. There again, I'm just pushing the OK button to operate that. So you can go low or high. Neither one of those settings do anything very sudden. It just kind of nudges you back into your lane or back into the right direction. Now, to get back out of that screen, hit the circle back button again. So now if we were to drop down to the BSM, your BSM is your blind spot monitoring. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when somebody's in your blind spot. So it just told me that I turned the blind spot monitoring off. Now I have to circle back out of it to get back out of that. Now to turn it back on, I just quickly hit the OK button. And so that's what it looks like when somebody's in your blind spot. Now, there's no audible alert when somebody's in the blind spot. But if you were to put your turn signal on and there's somebody in the blind spot, it would start flashing to let you know that somebody's there. We're going to drop down to the PCS. So PCS stands for pre-collision system. Pre-collision system, if you're driving along, and this is in town, if you're driving along and somebody stops in front of you and you didn't notice them in time, it has the ability to take over and stop the vehicle. So if I was to open up that one, there is an internal menu. There is 3 different settings as far as the alert. I'm going to show you here real quick. So push and hold the OK button to open it up. So like I said, you have a warning timing. That's basically just a sensitivity level. So there's a low, medium, and high, and then of course you can turn that feature on or off. I've been in a situation where I had a customer, and if you guys have been a long time subscriber, you probably heard me tell this story before, but a lady came in and she wanted to drive one of the new Priuses, and she said, I want to test out that pre-collision system. And I kind of jokingly said, well, you know, the company kind of frowns about us standing in front of the vehicle while you try to run us over. And she laughed and she said, oh, okay, I get it. So anyway, we're out on the test drive and I can see a truck up in the distance, and as we're waiting, or actually we're driving along, and I can see the truck in the distance, and I can see that the truck's slowing down, but there's no brake lights that are coming on. And so I'm kind of watching the truck, and then I'm kind of watching her to see if she's paying attention. She's kind of looking out the window. And then about the time I'm about to yell to stop, the vehicle takes over and stops itself. So I definitely know that it works. Anyway, I asked her, I said, hey, did you do that on purpose? And she said, no, but it worked. So I definitely know that that feature works. I actually had another situation where it prevented another accident too on another test drive. So, all right, so we'll get back out of that. Next one is PDA, which stands for Proactive Driver Assist. Proactive Driver Assist uses all of your sensors. So it will use your parking sensors. It uses, if you have panorama view monitor, it will use a panorama view monitor. But anyway, it uses all the sensors to help you proactively drive. I turned it on this morning just to remember, to kind of refresh myself how it works. And the one thing I did notice, and this is something that people, if they have a commute and you're in stop and go traffic all the time, you definitely may enjoy using this. The benefit to it is that it will give you, a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. If you're stepping on the gas, it's not going to do anything. However, if you get too close to a vehicle in front of you, or they're slowing down, it looks like you're not paying attention and you're not going to slow down fast enough, it will take over and it will slow down the vehicle. I've also been in another situation where I pull up to a stoplight, but yet there's a bicyclist in the bike lane next to me. And it would physically steer the vehicle over to the left-hand side of your lane to basically give that bicyclist more room. And then if there was somebody up in front of you and it looked like you weren't slowing down fast enough, it will take over and slow down the vehicle. So it's definitely a lot more intrusive. It has a lot more interaction with the vehicle than what some people may be accustomed or familiar to or even comfortable with. So you have the ability to turn that feature off. Next one down is your parking sensors. And so those are the sonar dots that are on the front and back of the vehicle if the vehicle is equipped with it. Below that, we have RCTA, which stands for Rear Cross Traffic Alert. So when you're backing up at a grocery store, it's going to pick up that cross traffic that a lot of times you can't see as you're backing up. So it's a great feature to have on. RCD stands for Rear Camera Detection, and that's using your backup camera. Now, if you have a panorama view monitor, it may use your side view mirrors as well, but it's definitely going to be using the rear camera as you're backing up to detect objects. The PKSB is emergency parking brake. If you are backing up, and let's say there's an object behind you, as you're backing up, and it detects that object and it looks like you're not going to stop in time, it will take over and it will lock up the brakes. There's a couple other situations that this comes into play. One, if you have a receiver hitch on the back like you would on a Tacoma or Tundra or Sequoia or even the new 4Runner that's coming out, and you put a bike rack back there and you put a bike on the bike rack, as you're backing up, the tires will make it think there's an object back there that you're backing into. So if you do not go in there and turn this feature off, it will physically lock up your brakes and definitely catch you off guard. It's happened to me before, and I was a little freaked out about it by the first time. So keep that in mind. RSA stands for Road Sign Assistance. So the camera, which is in this black box up here, it will read speed limit signs, caution signs, stop signs, yield signs, crosswalks. I can't remember any others that I've seen pop up into the dash when I was driving, but it will read all those signs. So the nice thing is that if you're in an area where you're not familiar what the speed limit is in that area, like I said, anytime that camera will see a speed limit sign, it will pop it up in the dash for you, and it puts it over here right around the temperature. Vehicle settings. So if you push the OK button and hold it, it will open up an internal menu for the vehicle settings. The first one, brake suggestion. So we used to call that sway warning. And so what it is, if you're driving and it looks like you're getting sleepy, a picture of a coffee cup is going to come up to let you know, hey, take a break, get some coffee. And so you can actually go in there and set a setting. So if you hit the OK button, whoop, I just turned it off. Oh, actually, there is no internal menu. It's just either on or off. So, if you're a type of person that likes to kind of wander on the road a little bit, you may not enjoy that feature being on, because like I said, that coffee cup's going to come up from time to time. The DRCC stands for Dynamic Radar Cruise Control. So there again, I can open up an internal menu by pushing the OK button. Once it's open, you have an acceleration. And what the acceleration is, and there again, dynamic radar cruise control. So it pertains to when you're out on the highway and you have the cruise control set, you do have a adaptive cruise control that you can set a distance on. Well, if somebody pulls in front of you and the vehicle is searching for that safe distance. Excuse me. So it's going to start backing off until it gets to a safe distance between you and the person in front of you. Let's say that person that pulled in front of you, for whatever, pulled off on an exit, or they decided to pass somebody else. The acceleration part is how quickly it accelerates back up to your normal cruising speed. So there's 3 different settings. You can set it however you want it, but just depending on how fast you want it to accelerate, you can set it accordingly. The guide message is part of the dynamic radar cruise control, and dynamic radar cruise control also will try to help keep you in your lane. So for instance, if you're coming up to let's say you have a curve up there and it's marked at 45 and you're doing 70, if it looks like you're not going to slow down fast enough in time, it will take over and help slow the vehicle down. If you're going around a curve, it will try to hug you to the inside of the curve just to try to make it safer for you to go around that curve. And so the guide message will come up and it will let you know that, hey, curve ahead, and posted speed limit if it sees it there. And then also curve speed reduction. So you have the ability to set how fast it actually slows the vehicle down. I've been out on the highway and everybody's driving along at 70 miles an hour and there's curves come up and they're listed at 55, but everybody's still driving 70, and you know that you can make the curve with no issues. Sometimes this curve speed reduction can actually catch you off guard, and you're following, you're staying with traffic, going around curves, and all of a sudden you're slowing down faster than everybody else is. So it can kind of catch you off guard sometimes. All right, so circle back to get out of that screen. Trailer settings, there again, push the OK button and hold it. So these are going to pertain to vehicles that do have trailer brakes set up. So for instance, you have a integrated brake controller here. You can go in there and set the type of trailer that type of trailer that you're going to add. And so there again, push the OK button, and then if we were going to add a new trailer, push it again. And then you can set up the type of trailer, whether it be utility, cargo, boat trailer, and then you can name it if you wanted to as well. So let's get back out of that screen. Go back one more time. And then you can actually deselect that trailer as well. All right, so we're going to go back, circle back to get out of the screen again. When you have a trailer plugged in or lights plugged in, you can do a light check on it if you wanted to. This Tacoma is a premium model, so it has the power liftgate. So you have the ability to set a adjustment on here. Now, here's something I will mention to you, and this is, I know there's going to be a lot of other viewers that don't have a power liftgate because they're in a SUV, whether it be a RAV4, 4Runner, what have you. But because the Tacoma does offer a power liftgate, and this will also pertain to a Tundra, when you go to open the liftgate, now I'm going to go in and hit the OK button and open up so you can see what I'm talking about. That power liftgate is turned on. When it's opening, and there's a button back there that you can push either underneath the tailgate handle, or there's a button on the side of the vehicle back in where the tail lamp set that you can push that will open up the tailgate also. But if you try to pull down on that tailgate as it's opening up, or when it's closing, if you try to push it, it will go into a fail-safe mode and it will physically stop. In order to reset that, you can go in here and you can hit the OK button to turn that power tailgate off, and then hit it to turn it back on, and then that should set it. And if that doesn't work, you might shut the vehicle off and do the same function again, and that should reset it where it starts working again. But if that ever happens, that's what it is. The alert is just to let you know if you forgot to close the tailgate. It will come up on the dash letting you know that. Your TPWS setting, that's your tire pressure warning system. So in order to get into that, I'm going to push the OK button and hold it. Now, if they were replacing tires, you could go in here and basically program the tire pressure monitors. If they were doing a tire rotation, if you wanted to set the tire pressure setting. So for instance, to go in there, push the OK button and hold it. You want to set it by a specified pressure. We're going to push and hold it again. And so the new Tacomas, and this is not going to pertain to all the vehicles, but the Tacoma itself, they come with a recommended pressure of 32 psi. So you can set a warning to come on 30 or 32, or even for whatever reason, if you're inflating them more because you're hauling, towing a trailer or have a heavy payload in the back, where you added more tire pressure, you could set it to come out up at 35. So anyway, you can set it at the tire pressure sense or warning system to come on at that pressure. Now, a lot of people have talked about, and I'm not going to get into it right now, but people have like, well, why can't I see the tire pressure in the system? You do have the ability to customize it so that you can see it in the screen. But with the new Tacoma, as soon as you shut the vehicle off, it defaults back and it eliminates that screen where you can't see it anymore. So you have to physically go back into it, find it, and then pull it back up so you can see it. So I think that's the biggest reason that they have the ability to set a specific pressure where the warning system comes on. All right, so we're going to get back out of that screen. Let's circle back. And then that's everything for that screen. All right, scheduled maintenance typically will be done if you take it in to somebody to have the maintenance done, especially if you have the Toyota Care. But you do have the ability to go in there and set scheduled maintenance. So push the OK button and hold it. And if you wanted to reset it, you could go in there and reset it. I'm not going to mess with it because this is a brand new vehicle. Circle back to get out of that screen. All right, we're going to arrow down. You could set oil maintenance if you wanted to. Rear seat reminder. So I've checked with this, just kind of playing around with it. I've turned the rear seat reminder off. Now, even after you turn the rear seat reminder off, you will still always have, when you first start up in the morning, right around this temperature. In fact, when you first start the vehicle up, you won't see the temperature first thing in the morning. And it's going to last from, 30 seconds to a minute. But what you will see is you will see 3 seat belts for the back seat. And that's just letting you know that, hey, double check, make sure everybody's buckled up. But then after a few seconds, like I said, 30 seconds to a minute, that will go away, and then you'll be able to see the temperature again. So if you don't fret, if you can't see the temperature when you first start it, it will show up. Stoplight display. So that feature's turned on right now, but if I step on the brake lights, you see the red lights coming up on the bottom. Now, some people don't like that. And you can go in there, and this is where you would actually turn it off. But You know, sometimes it's kind of nice, especially if there's hybrid models where you don't hear engine noise. The fact that you can actually see your lights, that you have your foot on the brake, sometimes is kind of nice. Circle back to get back out of that screen. Meter settings. All right, so there again, we're going to push the OK button and hold it. All right, you can change language, you can change units of measurement, meter type. So if I push the OK button and hold it, these are the meter types that you have. So the first one, and I'm just moving the OK button up so I can select that one. Hit OK to select it. And you notice that we lost our gauges around the outside there. If we wanted to go to a single one, I'm just push the OK button and hold it, and it puts up one single gauge in the center. And then if I wanted to go back to the dual gauges like we had, gonna hit the OK button, and then we can go in there and circle back to eliminate that screen. All right, circle back to get back out of there. All right, I was going to go back and show you meter style, so let me go back and do that. All right, so go into meter style, just push the OK button and hold it. All right, you have the ability to choose 4 different meter styles. So we're currently on the tough, and it kind of looks kind of like a cogwheel. If you go back up and hit casual, and I'm just hit the OK button to enable that. That is the casual. That's the smart. We've already been in tough. We'll go into sporty. So these are the layouts that you have to choose from. And a lot of people are not familiar with that. And I guarantee you that there is a lot of salespeople that don't go in depth to show you how to do all this customization. So you have a lot to choose from in here. So we're going to get back out of that screen. We're going to back all the way out. And that takes care of the settings. We've obviously covered a lot of information. Hopefully I didn't make this video too long, but like I said, I will do another follow-up video talking about the customization on the dash itself. So there's a lot of things that you can set up, and I'll give you an example. In the beginning, I showed you down here that there's 3 different profiles. And if you watch, you probably saw things change differently on both the left and right hand side. The benefit, especially if you were going to be towing something, is you can set up, like you might see in this one being a turbo vehicle, it has a turbo boost gauge here. You could set up on the right hand side if you wanted to see, for instance, you wanted to see transmission temperature or oil cooler or oil temperature. So there's a lot of things that you could actually set up in there. You may want to put drive mode, you know, there's a lot of things that you can put in there. So like I said, that's going to be another video. I don't want to make this one too long. But if you have any questions, any comments, go ahead and send them my way. I've gotten a lot of people have put in comments wanting to know how to do certain things. And so I've tried to kind of slow it down a little bit, try to show you exactly what I would do in order to go in there and set those safety settings. But like I said, if you have any comments, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I will say this. I think that, you know, I've been with in the auto industry since '94, so I've seen a lot of changes over time. When I first started with Toyota, and this is back 11 years ago, no, actually 13 years ago, there was virtually not much that you could change, and there wasn't a whole lot of technology in the vehicles. There's so much technology in the vehicle now that if you find salespeople that have been in the business quite some time, some of them are struggling to kind of move forward with the technology, and so they don't get very in depth when they're going through the actual delivery of the vehicle. So there again, don't be upset that you find a salesperson who doesn't know a lot about it or doesn't know how to go over a lot of information. And then another thing too is that, you know, when we do that, and I mentioned the older generation before, if you have somebody that's used to a vehicle with very few features on it, and we go through and we spend 30 to 45 minutes going on delivery of a vehicle, it doesn't take much to get overwhelmed. And so it's a lot of information to give all at one time. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, take the time to like and subscribe if you enjoy it. If you have questions or comments, send them my way. Thanks again for watching.